guys, TJ here. So I wanted to talk to you about 8 simple steps that you can follow in order to start your serviced accommodation business. I've got the list here, so I'm just going to go through them straight away. So number 1, you've got to focus on building relationships with landlords, agents and developers. In fact, scrap developers for the moment. You've got to focus your attention on finding how and the most effective way on building relationships with estate agents or landlords. Now, just to give you an overview, my preference is working with estate agents. It takes the same energy, it takes the same skill, it takes the same time to build a relationship with an estate agent that it takes to build a relationship with a landlord. But here, there are certain benefits with working with landlords and there are certain benefits with working with estate agents. However, in my books, the relationship with estate agent weighs up a little bit more. Number 1, because they have stock. Number 2, you build a long-term relationship with somebody and they continuously give you more properties. Number 3, they do all the legwork for you. Of course, the benefit of working with a landlord is they have one property, you get to work with them on more favourable terms, and you're able to negotiate a good deal. But the problem here with the landlord is the landlord typically has one property that might become available every year or every 2 years, whereas with the estate agent, if you're planning to scale up, then they are your best friends. So the first thing you've got to do is learn how to build relationships and talk the language of landlords and estate agents. You've got to fill them with confidence that you are the right person to take on their property. So that's number 1. Number 2, find a suitable property. So you've got to be able to find a property that works well with exactly what you want to do. So if you're planning on providing a service for contractors, then the property has to be suitable. If you're planning on finding a property for corporates, then the property needs to be suitable. If you're targeting the leisure market, then again, you've got to find a property that fits the mold, that fits exactly what you're planning to do. So number 3, ensure compliance. Make sure you are compliant. Make sure that the mortgage isn't breached. Make sure the insurance is proper. Make sure the landlord is fully aware. Now, there's a lot of talk about, is subletting illegal? Subletting is not illegal anywhere within the UK. Illegal subletting is illegal, which simply means you haven't got the correct permission from the property owner to sublet that property. I'll do another video another time talking about the issue of subletting and how to actually get around subletting. Not get around illegally, how to get around subletting, but explaining what you are doing to the landlord to give them an understanding about what you are planning to do so that they don't object to what you're planning to do with their property. Number 4, you want to furnish that property to a good to great standard. The reason I say good to great is because a lot of people make this mistake, especially when you're getting into rent-to-rent or rent-to-serviced accommodation. What they plan to do is take a lot of money, dump it into the assets and beautify the property because they feel that that's what's needed in order to get the guest. That's not 100% true. You've got to be cautious because this is somebody else's assets. You don't want to go and spend tens of thousands of pounds on someone else's asset for them to say, oh, this looks amazing. Thank you very much for making my place look amazing. I'm going to take my property back. The whole concept of rent-to-rent or rent-to-serviced accommodation is supposed to be a low entry level business that allows you to get as much out as possible. So you've got to take into consideration when you plan to break even. And these are the things that many people don't take into consideration. If you're starting a business, you've got to at least have the anticipated break-even point so you know this is my investment of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, whatever amount you're investing, and this is the month I'm expecting to recoup it based on the numbers. Number 5, get that property on as many OTAs as possible. So if you're brand new, the OTAs, the online travel agents, are your best friend. You want to get your property on as many of those as possible because the aim of the game is to have as many eyes on your property. So what you want is people from South America, North America, Germany, Spain, France, London, UK, wherever, seeing your property, which means you're more likely to get as many bookings as possible. You've got to get the right contracts in place. Now, I'm not talking about the contracts with the estate agent, with the landlord. I'm talking about the contracts with your guests. And I'll do a video on that later on. But this also leads back to the concept of subletting and why a lot of estate agents and landlords fear giving you their properties, because they are afraid that if you don't have the right contracts, you could automatically create an AST in their property, which is going to cause a lot of trouble for them. We'll talk about that later. Number 7, which is so important, and I don't hear this being thrown around a lot. Number 7, protect the asset. Now, by protecting the asset, you're taking responsibility for your business, but you're also taking responsibility for the owner's property. You've got to bear in mind, someone has invested a significant amount of money in buying this property, which is what's allowing you to then generate money from that property. So you've got to focus on protecting the asset, which means looking after the property and ensuring that the place is not damaged and it's looked after. And then the last thing is keep your eyes on the numbers. Keep your eyes on the numbers and look at your figures on a month-by-month basis and look for when you are leaking money. Because this is what tends to happen in a lot of business. It's we start making a profit, and these are headline profits. These are what we think is the profit. But when you dig deeper, you start looking at where you're losing and leaking money. So what you've got to do is make sure you keep your eyes on the ball and look at your numbers on a monthly basis to see whether you are actually in profit and what you can do to add more profit to your bottom line. I'll catch you soon. Bye-bye.